3, 2, 1.
For 3 weeks now, the seat of Canning has been the focus of national attention.
How you doing?
Yep.
Andrew Hasty. I'm the Liberal for Canning in the upcoming by-election on September 19th.
The key thing about being a local member is listening to what people want.
If we are elected the next election, we'll commit to these valuable road projects.
We will make a $1 million contribution to the further upgrade of this club.
This is a huge by-election. This is a blockbuster. It could set the tone of federal politics for the next 12 months.
The seat south of Perth is held by the Liberal Party by a margin of nearly 12%, but polls are suggesting a swing against the government.
The question is, how big will that swing be? If the Liberals lose this by-election, then it certainly will be crucial for Mr Abbott and could even be fatal.
As always, I love being in the bosom of the West Australian Liberal Party. Thank you so much.
The Liberals have enlisted a former SAS captain who served the country in Afghanistan to try to hold on to the seat.
Prime Minister, please know that while I support our Liberal government, if elected, the women and men of Canning will be my first priority.
But his main opponent, Matt Keogh, a lawyer who grew up in the electorate, has been keen to remind voters who's ultimately in charge.
A vote for Tony Abbott's candidate in this election is a vote for Tony Abbott. It's wrong direction and broken promises for Australian voters.
But on the streets of Canning, it's clear that local issues have dominated much of the campaign. The electorate spans everything from working-class suburbs to expensive canal developments, from farmlands to mining communities.
What we've got in Canning is a little bit of a microcosm. You know, you are sort of fighting like a mini general election when there are lots of different demographic groupings that you need to keep sweet.
In Armadale, on the outskirts of Perth, one of the main population centres, crime, ice addiction and antisocial behaviour are at the top of the list of election issues.
I think I'd vote for anyone that would do something about the crime in this area.
The members of this men's shed say Armadale needs more services to help curb its spiralling crime rate. The men spend most of their time repairing damage to their headquarters.
There's lots of people, as you say, wandering around the streets, nothing to do, no ambition, no aims in life, you know. It'd be nice if we could sort some of that out.
Down in Mandurah on the coast, where a quarter of the population's under 25, the big worry is unemployment. In WA's post-boom environment, the youth jobless rate has soared to 16% in some areas.
We would love to see a candidate come down and say, yes, we're going to help you build your employment base down here. We're going to help you diversify.
Across the seat's rural and mining hinterland, there are polarised views on national issues like the Chinese free trade deal. While unions are warning about the threat to local jobs, sheep farmer Simon Kelsall supports the agreement and already knows who he's voting for.
Yeah, I think last time when Labor was in and they shut down the live trade, did a lot of damage for the cattle industry. Yeah, that's why I'll be voting Liberal.
Only a quarter of the electorate live in the rural part of the seat, but their votes could become important in a tight finish. The by-election was triggered by the death of hard-working Liberal member Don Randall, whose personal following accounted for a big chunk of the party's safe margin.
Oh, he's just a ripper fella, I reckon, but fiercely competitive man as well. So he was a driven politician, wasn't he? He was a beauty.
The Liberals are hoping their new candidate can inherit some of that loyalty.
G'day.
Tony.
Tony,
How are
nice
ya?
to meet you. Yeah, I'm the Liberal for Canning.
Yeah, mate.
And the upcoming by-election on 19th of September.
Big shoes to fill.
Absolutely. Yep. Are there any issues you guys have?
Yep. Can you get rid of the camp and stop the fly-in, fly-out? I mean drive-in, drive-out and the camp, that'll be great.
Here in Boddington, in the far southeast of the electorate, there's concern that the town hasn't benefited enough from the mining operations on its doorstep. Some locals believe an accommodation camp at a nearby gold mine has stopped workers from settling in the town, and they believe government has a role to play.
And we've got the perfect opportunity, two of the biggest miners in the world here, and I don't know why they're not getting more incentives to come to town, make this a really big growth centre.
Congratulations, you are officially Australian citizens.
One of the big unknowns in this by-election is how an extra 10,000 newcomers to the seat of Canning since the last poll will vote. These families became Australian citizens recently, just in time to enrol.
G'day, mate. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi.
It's not clear what impact the Syrian refugee crisis and the federal government's planned airstrikes will have on the last week of the campaign. But for these new residents, the issue of asylum seekers in general is a factor.
So I'm not sure with regards to the refugees, migrants. You hear so much on the radio, especially with what's happened on Nauru and all that. So we don't know if that's... Sometimes it makes you think whether it is the right thing that they are doing.
Where I go to church, and last night we had 4 cars broken into.
Really?
Really? While
you were all there?
Yeah.
Hi, sir, how are you going? I'm Matt Keogh on the Labor
That's a good lovely win.
Thank you.
It's the seat-swinging voters that will get much of the attention in the closing days of the campaign.
Hello, come in.
We will contribute a community safety package of $3.2 million.
There are 10 other candidates in the race, including a Palmer United hopeful and a Greens contender, who's hoping to benefit from any protest vote against the government's policies on renewable energy.
By supporting renewable energy, we're addressing housing affordability, rising energy costs and new jobs into the future, and I think these are all really key issues.
Whatever happens next Saturday, the voters of Canning can only benefit from their brief stint in the limelight.
They are the centre of national attention. They've had promises from the parties that they couldn't dream of in a normal general election.
Beautiful.